from Fnatic will be, because directly that movement is quickly onto the connector section, and they're coming through toilets in just a second. Madi will meet them, and he retreats, because that flash that popped in quite closely to him.
Yeah, I also want to point out Flusher has gone for that P250, which can actually find headshots at a decent range now. You know, one-shot headshots when the opponents don't have Kevlar. So I think that's the idea of dropping that over to Flusher. Either way, enough about that, because we will see the push come forwards, and Modi finds a quick headshot dropping down the bomb. And that might prompt a rotate up to this A bomb site, but instead they're just going to continue holding.
Ooh,
and
Modi
flicks back around for another frag, leaving just Flusher left. And that P250 isn't going to have much chance of doing anything in this round, as he will get closed in. And Heroic take an incredibly convincing pistol.
No one dying, so all that equipment stays exactly where it has to be. A little bit of buying up, of course. We see the UMPs coming in place where they belong to. Nico taking that full utility role together with Madi, which is very lovely to see, to not over-aggress at a point in time where you could just backfire massively. You don't want that to happen in Fnatic, of course. The pistols they try to grab, and they do grab right now, will be used well. Close range capability of a ZZ. I think we don't even need to talk about it. If they grab the entry and somewhere around the toilet section, they could have a really good possibility, but they're moving around short. And just in a matter of seconds, Madi will meet the first. The question is, how will this duel be successful for anyone? Because he tries the first with the grenade, and now 3 players are coming around the corner, so it's time to chill. And Snappy's there for the help.
Yeah, using that rifle at the long range to find the quick headshot early on. And good job from Heroic just to make sure no quick push comes towards that B site. They really slow things down early on in those trades. And now you can see Fnatic sort of a little bit questioning where they want to go towards. You know, you can see them making their way back. As always with these pistols, very difficult to find those opening kills. You know, especially with the CZs, right? You don't really want to be taking long-range fights. You can see Crims is just waiting to see if any over-aggression comes through, which could be a possibility. And trying to play those close range angles with the CZs, but Heroic are just sitting back patiently, which is good to see them not overextending unnecessarily against these pistols. We will see JW possibly spotted out. Over goes the nade, and it takes him down to 15 HP. And as the time ticks away, 40 seconds left for Fnatic to make a move. And it looks like it may be towards that A bomb site any second now.
Yeah, Nico stands so tired with his UMP. The 45 ACP ammunition will just rain into the bodies of the Fnatic players once they come around the corner, except he does any mistakes. There's JW to be found first. He moves around, gets another, and it should be just that golden that has to be taken now. But now he can show his deagle capability, which is seemingly not that great as expected. Yugi takes him down, 2-0 secured for Heroic, and so Fnatic has not the slightest bit of a problem to go for an eco. And that's kind of sad, of course, but it's a typical kind of play. You know, the economics in Counter-Strike, it should actually deserve its own college degree very often. That's at least how you can feel about it. And to talk a little bit about Fnatic at that point, as we have a pause being called, they just recently lost a best of 3 against Hellraisers, though they took down Mousesports and also Immortals, and once more Mousesports, also in E-League. So their streak against the top-tier teams looks quite decent. You can't really doubt that they're doing much wrong regarding that, but Heroic is a team that plays so long together, EastTech being the newest addition, that I feel that maybe the bond of the players is that what makes it so crucial.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, this is a technical issue called by Heroic. Seems like they have some issues with their TeamSpeak, but again, going back into Heroic, you know, not only do they have that with sort of Modi in-game leading, they have that sort of chemistry between the players, but they do have, you know, very skilled players, as we were saying earlier, in terms of Yugi in the mix, as well as Nico. So, you know, not only do they have that sort of chemistry, which Fnatic, of course, may be lacking only together for a month, but they do also have the skill, and that makes it a very dangerous series here for Fnatic. You know, I think a lot of people would have had them as favorites heading into this series, but still, I very much think that Heroic have a decent enough chance here, and I think we're fairly likely to go to the third map. But either way, we're going to head into this third round, back underway, and again, just Glocks for Fnatic. I do like the fact they've at least brought up one flashbang, just in case you can, you know, catch one player off guard and find a kill. That could be a possibility. We will head back underway and see where that one flashbang will be deployed.
Yeah, gold at the IGL for Fnatic. Been in the team for around a month now, but Snappy, he grabs the head of Lekro, easily puts it in his collection of beautiful Fnatic players he has now on the board. He's trying to grab a few more. Not go overly risky, but this is only a Glock. Long range capability of this gun is near to 0. So golden He also gets taken down, and so Snappy should find one after another, except he gets rushed over. But there is Nico to help him out, and only 2 more alive. So let's see what Crims can do, but that is probably a round over, and it is. So 3-0 for Heroic. And now it's playtime for Fnatic. Now it's time to grab the big guns. Now it's time to grab something out of the armory, because it's time to take down Heroic at this point.
Yeah, it looks like the Swedes will have a few nades in their arsenal, but not quite, you know, the full utility they may have been hoping for. And I'm sure they will more likely just be trying to rely on those AKs for the opening frags, especially against Heroic, who have decided to keep 2 UMPs here. So this is almost like a bit of a bonus round for Heroic, right? They can certainly afford a buy even if they lose this one. And just doing some damage to the Fnatic economy wouldn't be such a bad round as we see the first fights come through. Little bit of back and forth between the 2 players, but no real massive damage done either way. And on this first gun round, I think you do see teams fairly often just kind of sit back passively, wait early on to try and not get caught off guard. And you see that coming through for Fnatic here, because obviously this initial gun round is so important for them. They don't want to make any mistakes early on, so they will just be sort of spreading out across the map. And of course, you might see those UMPs go aggressive, right, to try and find a close range fight early on. So I certainly like the way Fnatic have started this off, but the question becomes, where is the end game in this round for them? Because with a minute left on the clock, they will eventually have to start moving forwards, and there's still a fair bit of utility left for Heroic to slow down any eventual push that would come through.
Yeah, and take a look at the economy real quick on the scoreboard. Yugi not grading up to AWP is kind of confusing. He sticks to the UMP 45. Logically, the close range fragging capability of this gun is massive, but an AWP is a different caliber of a gun, something that can be way more useful than the submachine gun now in the hands of the 20-year-old Dane. And this Fnatic is just around the corner. They probably expect Yugi to be there, and he grabs actually one. That is great to take Crims. A lot of time saved. A lot of pressure already put now onto Fnatic. The information should be there, so Nico stands in behind the truck. Smoke pops directly in front of him. And in this case, it's JW who tries to make it sneaky, but Snappy is aware of the situation, so not much more is going to happen than Golden dying to the Sweet. 4-0. Heroic doing everything right at that point, keeping the defense line very, very deep onto the sides, not over-aggressing anything. You've just mentioned the UMP can be used as an aggressive CT gun, but in this case, it wasn't used like that, and I think that made a tiny difference here.
Yeah, and also Fnatic there on the push towards the site. We saw the smokes come over the top, but I was watching Nico there, and he found a slight gap in one of those smokes to sort of allow him to get a crossfire with his teammates, and that made such a big difference as the push came through. We are going to see some flashes out towards mid. Of course, Fnatic have some investment into this round. The rifles should be favoured in these fights, although Crims might get a chance here as the CZ opens things up. He found a trade, and Snappy up close in towards Connector does extend the margin in Heroic's favour. So they gain a man advantage, but still, the CZ doing some work, and a rifle recovered for Lekro. At least some chance for them here to get something done in this round with just the pistols. And again, Lekro is likely going to be trying to go in first now and getting some kills with that one rifle. You wouldn't expect the CZs to be wanting to take those long-range fights. In the meantime, though, remember, Snappy is still stuck in towards Connector, so he could be a bit vulnerable, and you can see he's a little bit worried of that, just making his way back towards B short to be as safe as possible. But in the meantime, Fnatic sneaking their way out towards B. Not quite the range you want to use the CZ out there for Flusher, but he swings back around for one kill. Doesn't have too much support just yet, and Modi is going to shut down this side of the push. So Flusher left by himself in a 1-on-3, jumping gets the kill. A little bit strange, but Heroic do clean things up.
Yeah, that was mandatory to do. I mean, we were just seeing right now, that was well done by JW, getting another frag, but pushing there for short. They could have actually just tried to get him really swatted out by just moving out of the connector, as well as getting JW there over short. They just were a little bit impatient or didn't communicate properly. This decimated the chance of actually getting the B site, but that doesn't matter, because once more guns are on the board. Full utility, and now Golden needs to come up with some strategy that those guys from Heroic don't expect. Because a 5-0 lead, that can be easily extended to something that could be an early victory of the entire half, and you don't really want that from a team that has picked this map. Heroic knows exactly how to approach. Heroic knows which way they want to go, and so far their defense is just more than strong and great to watch, actually.
Yeah, Modi is going aggressive in towards B short early on, which is something you do see fairly often from the CTs on Overpass. That's the area that it's easiest to get that map control. If you go for the smoke over the top early on, you can push forwards, but there goes Yugi, aggressive with that AWP to get the opening, and he still has some support from Nico, who helps him out and makes sure he is safe for the time being. Really nice setup between the two players to keep each other as safe as possible, but Necro's flash is nearly good for the kill, however he whiffs those shots. If he'd have found that frag, there might have been a way back into the round for the T's, but instead, Modi comes out on 2 quick kills, and this round again is going to be over, and Fnatic off to a very slow start here.
Over is not what you should say. We're having a guy like Crims here, grabs at least Snappy, tries his best with Yugi, and yeah, okay, you were right. I won't even deny. Those shots we've seen there from Lekro should have never been whiffed, though. That was just more than sad to see. He could have taken down a fully flashed Nico, who was just there, standing out in the open like the easiest victim, a deer that looks into the headlights of a car, and he doesn't move. He could be done just by one tap or something similar, but the pressure was too high onto him. And so we're seeing Fnatic, who have not achieved a single point yet. Not a round that has been ended successfully for the well-known Swedes, who won multiple major titles. And funny story about Flusha and JW, they have played together since 2013. So around 4 years, those two Swedes are now playing with each other.
Yeah, and just taking a quick look at the scoreboard in this break, of course, it's still very early stages, but Snappy, not someone you really talk about in terms of firepower for Heroic all that often. He's up there at 11 kills, so if he could continue at this kind of level, that could really push Heroic over the edge. Either way, we will just see the CZs, 5 CZs for Fnatic, using the meta to their favor. Of course, the CZ still hasn't been nerfed, even though I think Valve, are going to try and do changes to all the pistols. They haven't quite got round to the CZ just yet. We're going to see the players push their way up top con. So I think Fnatic were hoping to find a player playing in Connector to get a quick kill early on, but very smart from Heroic just to not really risk that, just playing passively towards the site. And as the push comes forward, Fnatic will try to get up close with these CZs.
Well, there we go. And Yugi, he lags actually, Crims in this case, through the smoke, can at least deal some damage to the pistols. Sees JW jumping, but whips that shot at least. And now Nico. There's number 1. Golden has to be found as well, but he rotates back. This is exactly what you need in such situations. To keep your mind up, to be aware, okay, I don't want to over-aggress any of this. I don't want to run into free pistols who could then get a free AK. Smartly done. Exactly how you want it from Heroic, and now Yugi will keep the long-range duels. Whips the shot onto JW. Another one to be not found. Onto the body. Oh, what is that from Yugi? He's getting taken down to that much HP, and now it's down in his grave. 3 players. Snappy on 18. He could be a one-shot. Let's see what actually Flusha does about that.
Yeah, they've got it down to a 2-on-3, and as they make their way back towards B, Modi is the only man here for the time being. So this could be slightly worrisome for him, but as he takes this first fight, Flusha is just so low on health that that's an easy opening kill. And JW, with 10 seconds left, basically has to push through the smoke, and that will cause him his death. Modi shutting things down. I'm not exactly sure what Yugi was doing there. It seemed like the movement was slightly off from him. He was kind of just jumping on the spot and allowing the CZ to get the kills at long range. But either way, again, 7-0 for Heroic, and Fnatic, they really need to get around on the board soon. JW might be able to buy up an AWP here. He has the money for it, but just decides to go for an AK. So it seems like on the T side here, Fnatic are happy to stick with the 5 AKs, which I think is fairly understandable for Overpass. You know, it's not a map where you necessarily need an AWP,
Yes.
but I think it could be useful on the T side still.
It's that kind of change you sometimes want to do, right? You don't want to stick to the same kind of idea over and over, and as we see Eastak very close to the smoke, not trying to push through, because that could become very dangerous. Free Swedes now are just waiting back towards T-spawn, near to Club. He waits, and I enjoy to see this patience from Heroic. It's very nice to have that kind of play style where you let the players just run in. It's very default, it's very classic, it's nothing too crazy, of course. But exactly, this is how you want to do CT, and this could be just an 8-0 scoreline. Then they have already sealed the deal to get the entire half on the board. That is the first thing. And secondly, that would just bring them in such an insane kind of position that they could run over Fnatic on Overpass. 1-0, a safe map to be won. We're going to see how the second half will go, though.
Yeah, 45 seconds left. Again, Fnatic have been playing fairly slowly, consistently in these gun rounds. However, it seems like they are going to make their move over towards the B bomb site. They're lining up some nades over the top. And here we go, the push to come forwards. But again, Heroic have 3 players stacked here, so it's not going to be easy as the push comes forward. Snappy loses out first, but the push will continue towards the site. Modi is still here finding frags, as is EPICENTER, and now JW, the 1 man left, ends up going down. And Heroic are halfway to that 16-0 dream.
What do you say, EPICENTER?
I mean, I call him EPICENTER. I don't know.
Really?
What the
I would call him just
pronunciation is.
EastTag. I don't know. You could be right because the free could be lead speak, and he means.
That's what I was thinking, but
Right.
who knows?
That's a good thought process. But I don't know. Wouldn't that be kind of, yeah. No, I never thought about this. I mean, I've been casting Tricked and Heroic for some days, but I never thought about that. I should have probably just asked him like every good caster would do. But look at me. Look where I am right now, and I still don't ask players. Really, there comes Madi with the first, instantly getting taken down by Lekro, one of the newer additions, playing since August for Fnatic. And it's time to do some change in the pace. Golden needs to come up with a strategy that fits to the playstyle of Heroic, getting them out of their defense to what seems to be crucial, but no major ideas are coming up so far in Heroic. They just open up their playbook, open page number 703. How do I actually play against Fnatic on a map like Overpass? And they're just reading every page one by one, line by line, and no interruption, not a single one.
Should get me one of those books, man. Maybe I'll be good at this game then.
I think you won't, to be honest.
That was...
I didn't mean it that way, but like, let's be real, we're casters. We're casters for the reason that we are not good at playing, I guess.
I mean, either way, again, Fnatic taking this round very slowly. I mean, this could start to become a bit predictable if they continue to go for these slow strategies. But we are going to have to focus on this round because with 35 seconds left, here comes Snappy. He could be so huge as he gets a free kill on towards B short. The push will continue. EPICENTER shuts down the bomb, and that should be this round pretty much done. As Flusher, the 1 man left, goes down low. He nearly gets that kill, and in comes the spray through. Great job from Nico to secure the final kill, and a team ace for Heroic. Always nice to see everyone chime in with a kill each.
Yeah, that is exactly the way you want to do it. I mean, Fnatic finally getting that AWP, as you've talked about it, that is a change in the system that might also bring the change in the scoreline. With that 9-point lead, the Danes plus the 1 Swede are delivering. There's not much to really show. Yugi tries to once more keep it aggressive, takes down Lekro, and in the first 15 seconds already 1 Fnatic player is being taken down. Russia just tries to push anything through the smoke, or at least get some bullets through the smoke. But he doesn't connect any shots. And so saying, Crim stays also at the tightest angle possible.
Yeah, and again, it seems like Fnatic just slowing things down. They lose that first pick early on. Yugi is really starting to build that confidence with those mid peaks early into the round, and it seems like he hasn't really been sort of countered so far. You know, oftentimes you will see 2 nades to try and stop the aggression, but fairly often he can just peek up towards Party over the top, get the opening kill, and you'd have thought JW might be trying to sit and stop that aggression, but I don't think he was quite there in time, and Lekro goes down early. So yet again, Fnatic, after losing a man early on, take things slowly. 55 seconds left. There's still a fair amount of time. With the bomb being all the way back towards T-spawn, they are going to have to make things happen fairly quickly here. And Heroic themselves, again, are still happy to just sit back. I mean, they don't have to change anything, right? They've just been sitting back and holding the site successfully. So it's sort of up to Fnatic to prove they can push forwards. But again, Yugi is still here with the orb, finding a second kill. He's going to look for even more as he peeks out into the open, spots the shoulder. Another kill for Yugi, shutting this push down. Finally, he is dropped by Flusher, down to a 2-on-3.
And there's a big heroic wall that is called Yugi, and he gets shot after shot. JW trying one of his famous no-scopes that looked like they could be promising, but double digits for Heroic. Well, Fnatic is down to 0 points. Timeout has to be called, and that talk is very, very, very important. Because, I mean, at one point you have to just say, okay, how can we actually do something about this? Where do we start? Where do we approach to take down Heroic? This is map number 1, right? We have to once more maybe talk about that this is the pick from Heroic. Next up, we're going to see Train, which Fnatic actually won 80% out of the last 5 matches on this map. So the chances of them getting themselves onto the third map are just existent. They're really good. They're much there. Golden as a new IGL, as he doesn't do that for that long, that might be a little bit of a changer, but I mean, so far, the performance is not that great on Overpass, but it's just Overpass. It's map number 1. You can do better. You're going to get onto the CT side soon. That could also be the changer.
Yeah, and Fnatic have decided to force up. I think at this point you're just so far behind. This is worth taking the gamble. Even with JW forced down to a Desert Eagle, the rest of the team should be okay. And with the AKs, they will look to get the job done at the early stages. A little bit of spray through takes Modi down incredibly low, actually. Down to 10 HP there. Didn't realize so much damage was done from the spray through. So nearly an opening into the round for Fnatic, but instead just some damage dealt. Looks like Heroic has switched things up a little bit on their A hold. They're playing 2 players towards A long, Yugi holding with the AWP, and then Nico pushed up. So that leaves bathrooms wide open for the taking, and it seems like Fnatic are slowly but surely inching their way forwards in towards that position. So this switch up might cost Heroic if they aren't aware that the flank could be coming through from the A site, and this becomes fairly awkward now. I mean, Yugi mainly has been sort of holding towards bathrooms with that AWP, so you'd expect Fnatic to be wary of that, but they still seem to be comfortable with trying to push their way on towards A. However, if Nico pushes through A long with some good timing, he himself might be able to find the flank and become a huge player in this round.
Just needs to spot the bomb, and then there's already so much information giving. The side that will be the destination of Fnatic seems to be A. Oh, and look how he plays it out. He just sees that there is one coming. He hears him, and Flusha is being taken down. And luckily for Nico, he found the crucial part of the team, the bomb carrier. And the time is now ticking, because it's not retaking a side for Heroic, because that bomb is far away from any of the sites. As just the only Swedish player from Heroic found that rectangle thing that makes people blow up. That will be, of course, Fnatic. They decided to hold up, say, okay, we tried our best. That was a nice idea, but it didn't work as expected. If they would have had the bomb and early control of A, it would have looked way different. But they were a little bit hesitant, and we have figured out and seen so far, hesitation, that does not work with Heroic.
Yeah, Fnatic, I mean, they walk their way on towards the A bomb site, but without the bomb, that doesn't really mean too much, and it doesn't really work out for them. To be honest, I think at this point, I wouldn't even mind seeing Fnatic go for a really quick play, maybe even out towards B Monster or something, right? Just go for some fast aggression and show that you have the potential to do that, because it seems like Heroic at the early stages are really, you know, finding it fairly easy to hold off early on. We've seen Yugi be happy to take aggression at the early stages. Flash going over from Nico. This time some quick aggression in towards Connector might work out, and you can see them lining up towards the B bomb site. So Fnatic are going to switch up the pace of their play as they come towards B, but Yugi is still here with the AWP holding off, but he missed.
And now a crucial part of Heroic has died. That is the AWPer, now down the drain, and this means Eastack gotta hold it on his own if there would not be Nico to come. There's number 1 coming through. Flusha just jumps around him. He does not care. The UMP-45 directly delivers a headshot. And so it's only Modi and Snappy to take control over this. Golden has been found. 2 more to go. Bomb not being planted. Stick somewhere in Connector. And the bomb carrier this time is going to Electro. The plan should be quite safe, but the rotation seems to be done onto that A side. A new destination has been found. And Modi, he stands perfectly to hold 2 angles, but could be found very early by Flusha.
Yeah, it's always a slight risk to play that position there, but if it is checked, then it's fairly difficult to get this kill. You can see Flusha making his way forwards. I think he may have made some steps there towards A long. So that's going to be the huge fight in this round. Whoever comes out on top for this next kill should take the win. And you can see as Flusha finds that frag, A looks fairly open, although Snappy is going to try to make his way all the way up through Connector to attempt to shut down the bomb. It just makes its way towards the site, but here comes Snappy trying to take the fight. As he gets spotted out though, the bomb will be planted on the other side. And there is the first kill for Snappy as Flusha loses that fight. So we go down to a 1v1. And with how Heroic have been playing so far, they have a very, very decent chance of coming out on top here. Off the back of
God, Snappy!
What an angle on the edge of the smoke. Such a sick clutch.
This is nasty. You just see a bit of his feet, and suddenly it's time for an execution. Lacro to be found last. And so a clutch situation turns out successful for one of the Heroic players. 12-0. It could have been that round of relief, that round of relaxation where we're just like, okay, we got at least one. Because if this goes 60-0, I think there will be some kind of memes going on very, very soon. But Fnatic got beaten by a team that is actually 3 ranks lower on the HLTV team ranking than they are.
Yeah, Molotov comes deep in towards mid early on. Heroic trying to counteract that aggression, but the flashes force them back, and they could be out in the open here. Yugi does get the one kill, but you see he couldn't quite get back to cover, so that allows the quick trade to come through. And finally, Fnatic, with these faster plays, they do seem to be able to get those quick trades. So I think this faster aggression has been working a bit better for Fnatic. And now they get to play from a 4v4, which should be, again, slightly more in their favour, because you can already see Heroic sort of spread a bit more thinly, and Crims finds a great off angle, jumping up for the kill. And again, JW up close with the AWP, loves to play positions like that, finds a frag of his own. And finally, Fnatic are in prime position to take their first round.
Yeah, in prime position. That is pretty much the word you need to look for. But hello, there's Madi coming. Taking down number 1, bringing it to a 3 versus 2. Well, EastTech tries to play it sneaky. Could meet Flush in just in a matter of seconds. The time is taken away, and EastTech tries to make that approach, but it seems like the Fnatic player is aware of the situation. Now he peeks out. He will find EastTech easily. No, he does not! And now it's only onto JW and Telecro, who both need to take that duel so wisely. There's number 1 to be found. This is your teammate. Don't shoot him, EastTech, but Flames are directly in front of the feet off the Opera. There's number 1 to be found, and Madi as well. So there's the relief. Lekro taking down 2, and Madi and EastTech, they're suffering in this. But, I mean, that lead is so comfortable. You don't even need to worry about anything at that point.
For a second there, I really thought Heroic was somehow going to win that round. It just seemed like they were going to miraculously come back and keep the dreams alive. But Fnatic do finally get their first round on the board. The worry for them becomes they did only get to save 2 guns at the end there, and again, we're in the very late stages of this first half, so the money doesn't really become too much of an issue. And it seems like Heroic, again, they're just so confident right now, pushing up towards mid. Snappy comes through Fountain, he's going to try and take this first kill, but the timing is slightly off. They continue to take the extended, engagement. It doesn't quite get the kill for Snappy, so now he's going to try to fall back, but Golden comes back through by himself to go down. Trade comes back, JW finding a nice shot. We're seeing fights all across the map right now. A fairly sloppy start, but there goes Modi opening things up. And there's only 2 Fnatic players left to make that Lekro by himself. He got 2 kills in the last round to clutch it through, but this might be a little bit more difficult in the 1-on-3.
It will definitely be. I mean, he needs to be a lucky Swede to take down all 3, because so far his performance and the entire team's performance did not deliver us any kind of great insane plays or great insane clutches. The guy, actually the final 2 frags in the round are Fnatic 1, now is on his own. Still has 100 HP, 45 seconds as well, but Yugi with an AWP to just aim at 1 single angle. And there he goes. Not even the slightest bit of a problem for the 20-year-old Dane as he takes down Lekro. So it's going to be a 13-1, and it could extend to a 14-1 in just a matter of seconds. Whatever happens, though, Heroic winning the pistol next up on a terrorist side should give them the opportunity to just say, bye-bye, Fnatic, we're seeing you on our next map. Because at that point, not much more to recover from the once major winning team of JW, Crims, and Co.
Oh, Nico. That's not the Molotov you wanted to do. The Incendiary doesn't quite go exactly where he wanted to. Either way, we're not going to have to worry about that because Fnatic are making their way quickly towards the B side. Here comes the rush, and a 3 down from Modi finds 2. Train's coming back and forth though as the CZs get a couple of kills. But Lekro again is the 1 man left by himself versus 3 opponents. The Snappy actually comes out into the open there. A little bit unnecessary as he goes down and makes it slightly more winnable for Lekro, who makes his way forwards. He nearly gets that second frag, but Nico shuts him down. And I mean, a 14-1 scoreline, what else is there to say about this game right now?
Pretty much all you have to say about this that Fnatic is going to have their checklist on. They said, okay, overpass, maybe not, maybe next time. But so far, we're far away from seeing a successful Fnatic at that point, which is kind of disappointing. We expected a way better duel. Fnatic is not horrible at this map, far away from that actually. Logically not their favorite one on the other hand, but still, I mean, they delivered some decent performances so far on a map that is centered around Germany, with in total, you know, playing it 3 times in the past 3 months, but still winning 2 out of those 3 matches.
Yeah, here comes the pistol round, and Heroic happy to just go for 5 sets of Kevlar because they are confident in winning these opening fights. Golden, though, with the USP holding at long range, gets that first kill. Very nice opening shot, but Nico is going to push through for the flank. JW, in the meantime, also from bathrooms, opens up with a kill of his own. So Fnatic have been fairly struggling in pistol rounds recently, but this might be one that could go into their favor because they have the man advantage, and Flusha finds another kill to extend that further. 2-man lead. JW is only on 1 HP, whipping the shots, but finally finds that headshot to leave Nico all by himself, and he can't do anything. Fnatic keep themselves in it for now, and you know, just getting a few rounds here at the end and warming themselves up could still be fairly useful.
I mean, I have to be honest with you, I'm a very optimistic person. I believe that things can happen all the time. I believe in everyone's equality, but I do not believe that Fnatic is going to recover from this. Don't get me wrong, it is a big possibility that is still existent, because we know Fnatic is a team that can get their spirit back on, but still, Heroic, just 2 more rounds. It needs to be a massive choke. Those Danes need to deliver and need to make us suffer from. If that will be the case, that Fnatic wins. But first of all, we see the ZZs and the Deagle on Eastack pushing through onto the A side, directly going for bathrooms. So it will be JW who needs to connect some shots. There comes the first together with Lekro. So it's 1 less on the board for Heroic, but there he comes from Yugi. And the rotation comes in quickly. The fake, though. Oh, that is smart. Take a look. Just see how Flusha and Golden think twice about rotating now. And then they fake the fake, basically. Because they're once more rotating back. Oh, come on. Is Heroic really doing... They really... Oh, no, they're committing to it. That's not good, Fnatic.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation. And you can see Lekro holding back very passively because he's by himself. And as he goes down, Ayla's very vulnerable now because Flusha's only here with an MP9. So this is going to be fairly tough to hold off. Some shots land, but still not the kill. And you can see Heroic themselves have a couple of rifles as they go aggressive with Snappy, trying to open things up, but that's going to cost him his life. So we go back down to a 3 versus 3. And Fnatic still just lining up this retake. They do have the 1 kit, so they can afford to use up some time, but they still have to push forwards. And here comes Modi trying to find the kills, but the FAMAS comes out on top. Swing towards the bomb, but Yugi swings out for the first kill. Trades go back down to a 1-on-1, and EPICENTER is playing incredibly safe, but yeah, the defuse is just going to come in.
I just love to see that round, because what we were just seeing to get it once more done and drawn out on the map, those guys from Heroic just pushed through and decided, I want to go A. Then Yugi said, okay, we're moving back again over long to do, just, you know, win some time. While the guys from Fnatic actually decided to move downstairs onto B again. It was only Lekro, if I'm not totally wrong, was there back onto the A side, got taken out very, very early. So that was the easy opportunity for Heroic to gain control of that A site. Now we're going to see if Fnatic can once more extend their lead, shut down the economy of Heroic as well, because what we're seeing is a big bunch of weird, or more likely different guns. Of course, 2 AKs, 2 ZZs, and a Khalil are a mixture you can play and win with, but the utility is kind of low, except the 4 smokes we're seeing onto the Danish team. Tries, nice idea, but those are shots Flusha usually hits. When he jumps, he does not get killed.
Yeah, always a little bit dangerous as the spray goes back, nearly finding the frag, but here goes Modi with that AK trying to find the headshot, but Crims just shuts him down from barrels. JW himself with that classic Mag 7 gets a kill of his own, but Jugi spraying back finds one, as does EPICENTER. And here we go, Heroic are opening up the B bomb site with some frags between each of them. Lekro still holding from heaven, and the spray through the smoke finds 2 kills, leaving just Yugi left in 18 HP in a 1v2. Finds the third headshot though. This has been such a back and forth round. And Yugi has a great chance now to win this because Golden is low on health.
Right.
Feel what this means for both players.
Yeah, and the smoke starts to fade in a second. The question is who will expect who first, when, and why. And there's a little bit of the body scene of Yugi. He cannot react to that. And so Golden has the luck of a Yugi who uses his eyes in the wrong direction. So 14-4 it is. 10-point difference we have at that point. And once more Heroic cannot really come up with anything in this round, as their economy is looking, you know, kind of tremendous. Not that great. Grading up for pistols with a ZZ on 2 players, 2 Deagles, and a P250 onto Nico. But so far so good, because their buffer is really massive. Fnatic can probably stick to it, because once they get that momentum and also that kind of spirit to be able to gather a comeback, then it would be great. But still, Heroic needs 2 more rounds. Not more, not less, just 2 more to get that victory on the board. And that's not much. Just 1 mistake from Fnatic, and this could be over before it even started.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is here, I think Fnatic are also going to have to rely on Heroic making a fair few mistakes of themselves. You know, it's very difficult for them not to win just 2 rounds at some point. So Fnatic, even if they play well, they can't really guarantee themselves the comeback, right? Because at some point, you've got to expect someone like Yugi is just going to step up in an individual round and really start to make things happen. Either way, in this round, that's unlikely because we've just got pistols for Heroic with a minute left to work with. They seem to be grouping up around that A bomb site for the time being, but they're certainly not committed to either side of the map just yet. Although as soon as I say that, they are going to inch their way up Bathroom, so it seems like the A play is likely. And JW holding close finds the first. There's a second kill to shut things down. He does get traded on, and Lekro I thought would have been peeking out to attempt to sort of keep his teammates safe, but that didn't seem to be the case.
You just jinxed
still
it.
kind of, yeah, they're still kind of questioning pushing through here, which might be to their detriment, if you like, because with 28 seconds left, they're going to have to move soon.
Right, and there's Snappy trying to hit some shots with his Deagle. Doesn't happen, though, and both players are kind of trapped in the position they're at that point, because the chances are getting near to zero. The time is taken away, and the shots are just not connecting, not hitting much, and so it will be Fnatic grabbing up another. So now it's Heroic's time. Take a look at the economy. 5,000, the majorities of the players have on the board. So they'll buy up as much as they can. The AKs are right now where they belong, into the hands of the Heroic players. And strategy-wise, there's the point to do some change, because you know there's still a lot of time left, but we all know that attitude, and we all know that kind of play style, where it's just like, how do I actually lose round after round after round? And then at one point it gets really tricky, it gets really close to the opponent actually winning. You need to avoid that point. You need to gather yourself back to that mood and back to that kind of status. Okay, concentrate, win right now, and you're good to go.
Yeah, the aggression comes through from B short for Crims, but I would have liked him to just have a player behind him just to make sure there was a chance for the trade. Instead, he goes out by himself, and here comes the push to the B site, and they are just going to open things up with ease. JW and Lekro, I think they have to go for this one, considering they're so far behind, but a 2-on-5, it's near impossible to come out on top, unless Heroic makes some mistakes, and that might be a mistake from Snappy, taking that engagement as JW finds a second kill. And maybe some hope still left in the Fnatic players' hearts.
As you just say it, as you just jinxed it once more, JW gets taken out. Lekro with 99 HP can still try to find free, but he rather rotates back, saves the gun he has in his hands, and keep the AK for the next round, as it will be now Heroic onto the 15th. And that means match point is just coming up ahead. The final one on a map overpass, or maybe Fnatic are able to hold it up, win 10 rounds in a row, and then go into overtime. But the chances for that are getting pretty much down to zero. Duke dies, but that gun will be safe for the next one. Fnatic, time to buy up, time to use the utility, use the money you have as properly as you can, but we see 4,000 on Flusha, not that decent. JW with 3.1k tries his best to get anything up for the team, and 2 MP9s, and we both know the MP9 is really bad when it comes to armor penetration. So that will be getting a little bit tricky, especially as the rate of fire on this gun is so massively high. Getting spray control with this is nearly impossible.
Yeah, we are just going to see again a slow start to the round. I think Heroic might be aware that Fnatic's buy isn't exactly perfect, so they should be expecting some close range positions. I do like this angle from Lekro, just playing up on top of this boosted position. You can also jump up here, of course. And it's a fairly decent off angle, especially with an AK where you're just looking for that quick headshot and then you can fall back. Shouldn't matter too much though, because it doesn't seem like Lekro will be tested. Instead, Heroic seem to be looking elsewhere, possibly in towards connector where Golden has to kind of check 2 angles, and that's not exactly easy to do. He ends up going down, and I think he was trying to get some support from Flusha, who pushed up towards B short, but he doesn't quite get the timing right. And so Heroic edge ever closer to that magic number 16.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that some Flusha magic is going to happen with his MP9. Starts with Lekro taking out Snappy, put some pressure onto the Heroic team, but still a good bunch of time left to play with. And now the door will be open in a matter of seconds. Flusha goes for a long-range duel with the MP9, which is quite unusual. And it seems like it's time to close the books when it comes down to overpass. Next up will be Train. First of all, we need to see if Crims can do some Fnatic magic. Crims can put that rabbit out of the hat and show us that he's the real Houdini of Fnatic, but probably that won't be the case, because Bomb is going to be played by Nico in just a matter of seconds. And the retake possibilities for the last Fnatic players are pretty much down to zero. There he tries to jump, but there he gets taken down. Modi finds him, and that will be a 16-5 for Heroic on their own map pick. With that being said, we're taking a little break. I was here with Faka.